Brezza, the city-bred SUV.
Well, CSK bounced back. They lost 2 on the trot and they've beaten the Sunrisers, who had won 4 on the trot and now have lost back-to-back games. Things are getting interesting. The top 4 is far from a foregone conclusion. That's a comprehensive win for Ruturaj Gaikwad and co. by 78 runs in the end after Pat Cummins put them in. We have plenty of questions to ask, therefore, of the Sunrisers. Are the wheels coming off for a team that gave us so much to be excited about with the bat, and suddenly in the chase, it's just not gone right? CSK on the other end, very good. So, McClenaghan, Varun Aaron and Aaron Finch will answer the questions on Maruti Suzuki Arena Presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by JBL. You like how I do that?
Oh, it's an impressive open.
Thank you very much. I have to say that because every time my smirk increases, I don't want the sponsors to feel like I'm smirking at that. It's because Aaron Finch is bothering me here to some degree, putting pressure on me. Is there pressure on the Sunrisers, though?
Yes, there is.
That is not far from a convincing performance, was it?
Absolutely. We said before the match that at the toss, I was surprised that they won the toss and bowled first with how destructive they've been when they've got no scoreboard pressure. They can just go and be dynamic, be explosive, and continue to just blast away. So as soon as there's a target in front of them, they seem to get the wobbles, particularly if they lose an early one.
And does that put under scrutiny even more the decision for Pat Cummins at the toss?
It's a tough one because there was a lot of due. He would have taken that into account, and he would also back their batting to get this. I know they've chased thrice, they've lost twice, they've won once. But today was a night where they could have set the record straight and told people, you know what, we can also chase. But sadly, that didn't happen. They've fallen short again on the chase, and this is just giving teams a template to play on a slower track, make them chase, get wickets up front. And it's going to be interesting for them because everybody thought they were running away with it with this crazy momentum. But all of a sudden, they are stuck in that middle muddle with all the other teams.
Yeah, it's not just that they've lost. It's that Klaassen's scored 20 of 21. And it's like an innings that's not going anywhere. What's missing for the Sunrisers with the bat in the last 2 games?
Momentum at the top. They've just fed off the momentum from Head and Abhishek. They've been very fortunate where what time the middle orders come in. They've had a lot of momentum against them, the opposition bowling side. So that's a significant factor. Also, you came up against a very defensive bowling unit in these conditions. They're one of the sides in this competition that will try to shut down one side of the field, and we've spoken at length about where to bowl to Raunak Kapoor, and it's to keep the ball away from him. And this is probably one of the first sides that's really gone about that.
Yeah.
And the wicket gave a little bit with the slower balls and didn't come through as well as we would have expected going off the game against Lucknow the other night. So a whole bunch of combination of things, but yeah, I guess Klaassen was just trying to rebuild before launching at the end, and that launch never took off.
Yeah, that's the other story to this. CSK clearly have come to this game preparing or better prepared than they were against Lucknow, just blew them away. Let's talk about that. They have almost put in a masterclass on how to defend at the Chepauk.
Yeah, absolutely they did. I think one thing as a captain and as a team that you want to do is if you lose the match, you want to lose playing to your strength but also the opposition's weakness. And if they're good enough on the day to counteract your best plans, then you take your hat off and say, well played. And today, like for a lot of it, they kept the ball right away out of the swing arc of the top 2, Klaassen, Markram, these guys. So, like, you saw the amount of guys caught on the boundary. Daryl Mitchell, 5 catches, all in the deep. So they're prepared to say, you know what, we think that this is the right plan. We're going to stick to it for 20 overs, and if it doesn't work, we'll wear the consequences of that. But at least we'll go in with a clear plan, what we think's right.
Small little ones as well. They put percentages in their favour. They've looked at how other teams bowled to Travis Head, and you saw Deshpande straight away go to a slower ball, even with that slice guy out, and took the wicket of Travis Head. So we haven't seen too many teams go to the slower ball early to Travis Head, and that's probably why he's dominated.
But also, we must take into account the age-old CSK tactic of going with the slow wicket. Jaddu's gone at 5.5 per over.
He's back.
Yeah,
we spoke about Jadeja's form.
If you historically see, whenever CSK find themselves in a tough spot, This is exactly what they do. This is the exact kind of wicket they play.
Well, that's awesome, isn't it? You're using your home ground to your strengths.
100%.
That's why it's a home
As
ground.
against
That's why it's a home
RCB and as against a number of other home grounds that seem almost
100%.
gobsmacked with no advantage.
I mean, that's what we called at the start of the game, that they're going to play on a slow wicket. They're going to get their spinners into the game. Jadoo did a brilliant job. Mustafizur, again, I don't think any of their fast bowlers really gave the SRH batsmen any pace to work with, which was quite sustained throughout the innings. And the wide line, they hugged the wide line really well.
Yeah, severe blows dealt by Tushar Deshpande. 4 wickets at one point. Just what do you put that down to? Because when batters get out caught in the deep, I'm thinking they're thinking that they've given it away. But credit to the bowler.
Absolute credit to the bowler. There was clear plans there. Travis said, like you said, going slow and wide to him, making him try to force all the pace, and then wicket very next ball. So they just got up and about and they got on top of the game early, and that is so important when you're defending a total. Yes, what looked like a total, probably a little bit above par, I think, but they just were always one step ahead, and their plans were brilliant. Their execution was brilliant. When they missed on the correct side that didn't allow you into the swing arc, and they just weren't able to get away. And Abhishek caught deep point as well, so just good, smart bowling.
Pathirana as well.
Geez, that was a good Yorker.
His quality, you know, big moment. Aidan Markram had actually got himself into a position to build a partnership and a launch platform to keep Raunak Kapoor out of the game for just a little bit longer and give him a platform to go from. And what a ball. You don't expect Markram to miss a delivery like that when he's set. So every time you watch him bowl that Yorkie, you're just astounded by how late he gets that dip. I know you're a big fan of it. That little bit of extra dip he gets late. Exceptional skill to be able to do that.
And Jadeja, back to your point. Again, this wasn't just Jadeja that anyone could take down today. There were so many times Klaasen was giving himself room or backing away, and Jadeja just nailed it within wide line. Every bowler came with their plan clear. Did it seem like that today?
See, the thing is, when you know what the wicket's going to do, it makes it really simple for you because you can go in with a plan, and if you execute the plan, you're going to come out on the other side more often than not. You're going to be victorious. And coming back to Jadoo, I don't think he's done really badly this IPL, contrary to what people are thinking, because he's obviously set really a high standard for himself when it comes to wickets. I know he hasn't got the wickets this IPL, that many wickets, but his economy is he's about 7.5, under 8, which is, he's doing a good job. And today, it just shows you what an invaluable asset he is to CSK and the Indian team.
Help the dummies like me, though. There was due.
There was due
in the second innings. So how is it not sort of come into play? Yeah, how is it not sort of hampered the side bowling?
They were on the umpires. Their ball got changed at least once, maybe even twice. After Pathirana's wicket, which was the Yorker, they changed the ball then, and I wouldn't be surprised.
They were getting wickets before that.
They changed it at a point.
Yeah,
but they did get
I don't
wickets,
understand you, mate. That's one thing. You turn up to a cricket ground and the curator says, yeah, lots of dew, and then there's none. And then there's days when they say, no dew, heavy dew. Like, I don't understand it.
Nothing more. Just leave it there.
Also, with the start, obviously, getting caught out deep, I think Deshpande was a bit lucky with some of the wickets. It also...
he's bowling to his field.
Yeah.
No, but with the guy playing a bit early,
I'm afraid.
top edging, that's not a wicket which you would just plan and get, would you?
Or someone playing across the line on a slow one when you bowl straight. It's not bad.
So you planned
you
that.
were back.
No, he did. He bowled a good line,
And
it's straight in touch.
You bowl
And he went across it.
you bowl a cut ball and somebody
It just
gets
seemed
caught
like...
out.
slow ball.
Okay, let's
And
not
that was
understand
The
this.
Abhishek one.
That was to the deepest
the-
boundary.
The
too.
Abhishek
The
one.
long side. You said
and he had a deep point.
Yes, he
so,
did have
so
a
he's
deep
bowling
point.
to his field.
So you're saying he bowled a cut ball to get him out.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll go with that. If that was his plan.
I think the CSK masterstroke is actually without anything spectacular. They've just sucked the life out of the opposition. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. But it just seemed like this free-flowing team did not find easy boundary options. Is that fair to say today?
There's like 13 or 14 boundaries that they hit for the whole innings. And you compare that with a couple of games ago, that was 4 overs that they hit that many boundaries. So, they made them hit where they wanted to be hit. And they didn't bowl too much loose stuff early that allowed them to get any momentum into their innings. They kept picking up wickets at regular intervals. And when you've got 210 on the board on a wicket that's just holding, that's always going to be a tough chase.
I think if you go back and dissect the difference between the two innings, we saw Darryl Mitchell quite often get, yes, they were trying to take the pace off, but they gave him step hits when they bowled their slower balls. So he was able to hit through the line on a slower wicket. And then when Shivam Dube came to the crease, it was similar. He played a couple of good shots.
There's one unbelievable shot.
Yeah, unbelievable shot. That was a good ball. But he just had the muscle to be able to power it over the fence. And maybe that's what the difference was. Shivam Dube's strength off those types of balls from training in those conditions consistently. And then also when they did try bowl the slower balls that CSK bowled, they just didn't execute on their lengths and was still easy to hit through the line off that fuller length.
Also, their spinner went at almost 12 and over.
They didn't really have a specialist spinner today.
They just had one spinner. So again, coming back to the whole conversation, that SRH don't have a specialist spinner, and that's going to find them wanting, especially in important games.
And Gaikwad's innings look so good now, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he was going.
Or should we say that
almost
Sunrisers don't have the teeth in their bowling, which has been seen again today? That's been a theme even when they've been scoring 250s and 240s.
I'll tell you what, they would have loved to have Hasaranga available. You know, he's the player you buy at the auction for when you play at grounds like this. When you go to Rajasthan.
And you play him for whom in this team?
Well, I was just going to ask.
Well, I mean, that's where you could probably... Because their local batters have actually been going decent. You know, you can play the 6 batters now without that super sub being introduced. He could have played for Markram. Because Hasaranga actually plays really nicely with the bat. He's surprisingly good with the bat.
It's, of course, yes, a moot point. And they do have Vijay Kandviaskant as a replacement, but he's never played any IPL cricket. He's only played one international. Very quickly, though, the choice of Anmol when we said they're missing one top-order batter, a game like this, would the experience have been a better impact sub? Tripathi, Mayank, instead of Anmol in his first game? Or
I'm sure they're thinking they're in a goodish space when it comes to the table. So why not give a chance to Anmol and see how it goes? Because they've tried Mayank, they've tried Tripathi for the first 4 or 5 games, and they really weren't making an impact. Unfortunate to get out on the first ball, but I'm sure he'll get another shot.
Okay.
Well, Amalpreet, just on Amalpreet, the way the management obviously looks like they've operated is they've taken the aggressive option. He's a striker of the ball, so they wanted to give another positive batsman an opportunity. Tripathi does that well, but Mayank, maybe in those conditions, Mayank Agarwal would have been a better option to play to the conditions down in Chennai if you needed to formulate an innings.
Okay, questions coming through on our YouTube Live. Keep them coming. Santosh, 2 minutes of silence for all those who said CSK posted an under par total. 2 of you, put your hands up.
Well, I mean, look, we're just going off what's happened in the IPL, right? It's like almost
to be able
Who was
to
that from, Santosh?
Santosh, yeah.
Santosh, that wasn't a question, that was a statement.
Yeah, that was a little...
But you know what, I'll accept that, I'll wear that, I got that totally wrong.
Yeah, you can say it like Bish, you take an L for that.
We thought it was actually going to skid on and speed up, but it didn't.
Very good. We don't have 2 minutes to keep them quiet over here, so I take your point in principle. Now, there are quite a few comments. Kalutamani, we've addressed that on whether SRH misread the pitch, and you saw so much dew, rightly so, and yet the ball didn't seem to come on. We've touched upon that with the panel. Now there are some strong words. Okay, SRH are getting found out in chases. They need to start batting differently. Lots of that in the theme. If I can just take a summary of a number of questions and comments coming through. Is it time that they start approaching their batting with a slightly different pace now? Would they be thinking that too? And what's the right way after 2 defeats?
No, they won't. I asked Pat Cummins the other night after one of the matches at the post-game straight after the match, the losing captain. I said, is it an issue being quite a one-dimensional team that you're going very hard and there's nothing to fall back on? And he said, no, we're going to keep going hard. So he's a man of his word, so expect them to come even harder now. But they are a better team when they bat first. As a lot of teams who play the really high-risk game are, because when you bat second, there's always the pressure of the scoreboard. So yeah,
it'd be a nice test for Pat Cummins, but you sense he'd be a good man to have in this dressing room right now. 2 defeats,
great man to have. Yep. Yeah, he won't be dwelling too much on it. I mean, when you've got a World Cup and a World Test Championship at home, you can sleep well at night.
Really, you guys won those? Okay. Fine. This one, Mitch, you can take. Should they consider getting Glenn Phillips in that team for Markram?
Oh, I love Glenn.
That notwithstanding.
Yeah, he is phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal. They've gone with Markram. He adds a bit of balance to their attack in terms of if they do get in these situations, he can build an innings for them to launch from, and that's what he started to do tonight before Parirana knocked them over. So I still think Markram does the role that they want him to do in this side. But Glenn Phillips, geez, he's pretty special. He's pretty special. I'd like to see him play.
Rifat says SRH becoming South Africa. And Abdullah says SRH playing like South Africa when it comes to chases. Anyone? Biting? No? Not biting?
I like it though. Good humour. Good humour.
Okay.
Unless it's not.
All right, some questions specifically for Finch here. Some Finchy fans over here. Question for Finch. What's the difference in mindset between opening the batting and batting at number 3 in T20s? Is opening the batting affecting Rahane? He had a stellar season at number 3 last year.
It's a really good question, and it's something that in my career I struggled with the transition from opening to number 3 because it was just something about going in one down that you always felt, and the game is totally different now, so I understand that side of it. When I was a little bit younger, if you batted at 3 and you were one down, you're like, you can't afford to lose 2 in the power play, so you'd almost be a little bit more circumspect, and you weren't prepared to put away bad balls because you were in a negative mindset. Whereas now, guys are just coming out and swinging hard. So, but there certainly is a different mindset to when you're opening the batting to when you're batting at 3. So, just keep swinging, guys.
Okay. One more for Finchy. This is from a handle called Born for Drama. Finchy, why did you retire so early? I can see you still hitting 4 sixes in the last over, just like Dhoni.
Who is that from? Is that
Born
my
for
parents? my parents or my wife?
Are they
or
up to
something?
this?
I'm very, very happily retired. It is much easier sitting here talking about the game than it is playing.
All right. Rifat also asks, how do you guys see Gaikwad in the Indian team scenario? It's funny, we discuss a lot of names. We don't discuss Gaikwad as often.
Because you've got Jaiswal, you've got Rohit, and Gill has been doing really well. If there is a backup opener, that's going to be Shubman Gill because he's been doing really well for India. I know that Gaikwad's having a stellar IPL so far, but again, if that's the criteria of selection, then so many people are going to make it and so many people are going to miss.
Yeah, his time's going to come. His time's going to come. Rohit and Virat aren't going to play forever.
Yeah.
And so he's definitely lining himself up to be that next guy once those guys move on, which could be after this T20 World Cup. You never know.
You'd expect it would be after this T20 World Cup with the next one not being till 2027.
Yep.
And also, I think with Virat at 3, then I think he's a similar player to Virat. He's someone who, once he gets in, he can bat really deep in the innings and the rest of the team can bat around, which I think will be important in the T20 World Cup in the Caribbean and US.
All right. I think we can put a pin in that for now. But that is a significant result as far as the points table goes. It would have meant for quite a bit of movement. Otherwise, Hyderabad could have gone up to 12 and left CSK at 8. So that could have been significant for the other teams in there. And what a big game tomorrow between Delhi and Kolkata. Yes, Delhi played 10, Kolkata just the 8. So that's a cracker that's lined up. 2 losses on the road for Hyderabad. Anyone having doubts on whether they might still slip up? Yep. CSK on the other hand as well, looking good. Like after they've lost twice to Lucknow, would they be in better space now to make the playoffs if you have to pick between these two teams?
It changes every game.
Yeah.
Every day you're like, oh, I think they might be gone. And then the next time you're like, oh, they're in.
Well, they need out of the next 4 games, they need 3 wins.
2
wins.
2 wins.
SRH will still make the top 4.
It's a nice time to look at remaining fixtures as well. Chennai have 2 home games left, which is significant when you look at their run-in. And that's against Punjab Kings, the next game. And then against Rajasthan Royals, a day game, just on the penultimate weekend of the league stage. They also travel to Punjab, so they play Punjab back-to-back now.
Yeah, their Rajasthan one's really fascinating because if Rajasthan's already qualified, there's a high chance that they won't send a full-strength team.
No, chance.
Come on.
They are playing the same.
All the time.
No, it's not going to happen.
When a team qualifies,
no chance.
Backfires.
No chance. Backfires really badly.
Backfires, and then you end up.
I'm just saying, Bolt won't play.
No, Bolt, no chance.
Okay,
They're
cool.
going to go with the.
We'll come back to
team.
that on the 12th of May, shall we, or the 11th of May? And they also go to Punjab. They play Punjab twice. They have GT and RCB, both who featured earlier today. SRH on the other hand, at least they have the comfort, if there is one, of returning home where they now play Rajasthan next. That's a big game. Mumbai in Mumbai, and then they finish with 3 on the trot at home. If that is an advantage come the end of the league stage, then at least Sunrisers play at home.
Well, Rajasthan have qualified already, so Trent Bolt might be going home.
I'm just throwing it out there, mate. It happens every year. The team that qualifies rests a couple of players.
And they kick himself when it comes to the playoffs. Because
Rajasthan of all teams will know not to take things lightly.
And there's enough time between every game now. You'll have one period where you play a couple back-to-back, but then there's enough time between them.
The only thing I see is potentially if we lose some international players on account of the World Cup approaching, if availability becomes an issue, we'll find out. That we'll know in time to come. Right.
There'll be brave cricket boards to do that.
Mustafizur Rahman is leaving next week. So, there you go. Brave cricket board. BCB, Brave cricket board. Very good. Okay. Rapid fire review.
So bright.
Yeah. Rapid fire review of the game, shall we? Great win for CSK, led and set up by Ruturaj Gaikwad. So 20 seconds or less, gentlemen. Let me start with you, Finchy, because it's for Ruturaj Gaikwad, the question. 4 scores of 50 plus in the last 5 outings. What has Gaikwad been getting right? 20 seconds.
Well, as an opener, your job is to obviously assess the conditions while getting on with it. And I think his ability to play spin through the middle allows him the luxury of maybe taking a couple extra balls because he knows he can catch up, he knows he can dominate spin. But he's a quality player, so he's just cashing in while he's in great form.
All right, excellent. Varun Aaron, why did Hyderabad find it so difficult to score despite the presence of Dew? 20 seconds.
The wicket was slow. MS Dhoni got the ball changed a couple of times, which obviously helped them. And the spinners bowled really well. Having a bowler like Jaddu in your side always makes the difference.
So the keeper can change the ball?
Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah, he suggests that, you know what, the ball's wet. Why don't you change it?
Mitch McClenaghan.
Yeah.
What explains the fall in Hyderabad's batting returns while chasing? 20 seconds.
I just think if they get off to a bad start in the second innings when they're chasing, I think the middle order isn't used to being in that position, and they've just got to find a way to stabilise the innings and then fight back to be able to chase the total.
All right. Finchy, back to you for the Sunrisers bowling. Is there a concern around the quality of bowling for the Sunrisers going forward now?
I think their wicket-taking ability in the power play is something that they would need to get right. I think for so long Sunrisers have relied on Bhuvi to get wickets up front, and he's obviously getting on in age. So that's one part of the game that you need to take wickets. That has a big influence on a game if you can get wickets in the power play. All
right. Mitch, back to you. How big a relief is it for CSK that Daryl Mitchell is among the runs?
Huge. That's probably the gap that's been missing. The overseas player since the first couple of games where Ruchin scored runs, they haven't really contributed with the bat. So Daryl Mitchell finding some form will be massive. Stephen Fleming spoke about their batters being out of form, and I think he'll be very pleased after tonight.
All right. And finally, Varun, summarise the all-round CSK bowling plan that ensured this win.
They've assessed the wicket really well. They obviously knew their home conditions. They've gone back to their old funda, which is to play on a slow wicket, back their spinners, back their bowlers who can bowl really good slow balls, and that really worked for them. Hug the wide lines also really well today.
Okay, excellent. Rapid fire review done. I must thank all of you for sending your questions and comments. They are coming through even now as we speak. I will just take this last one, which has 3 fire emojis on it, from Fatima Hussain. Varun, you're looking fire.
It is.
Okay. We started the day with Finchy admiring the suit, the quality of it.
Yeah. The bell goes off at the stock exchange in about 10 minutes.
All right. Okay, on that note, Impact Zone. Game 2, Varun Aaron. Ooh.
Some low scores.
Yeah, it's a slow wicket on the Impact Zone in the second game.
Pathirana would get me more points there.
Just the 2 overs, I think, and we'll have a look at the economy rate, which was 8.5, which isn't bad, but all the other bowlers have gone between 6 and 7s, at 6s and 7s, including Jadeja at 5s. Only Deshpande, the exception, went at 9 and over. So maybe that's why the economy was judged to be higher.
All right.
You won, be happy.
No worries.
Gosh.
Jeez, I was stiff. Mo and Ellie. Go around it. Didn't bowl, didn't bat.
My outrageous pick was Mo and Ellie, 3 wickets.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, that's...
Took a catch though.
That doesn't count.
just don't count.
Rishabh Pant got man of the match for keeping.
That wouldn't count on the points table.
They were confused at the time who to give it to in Delhi. So, right. And Delhi suddenly, anyone want to call after what's happened on a very dramatic double-header weekend now completed? Some of you saying that Delhi might make a late charge?
We've got a chance.
They're making a charge, absolutely.
They can get
But
to 18. They can get to 18 points.
Even if they get to
They have to win the next
16,
game.
they drop a game. Mate, they're well in the hunt.
You know, I have thoroughly enjoyed the chemistry that the three of you have brought on the show. It's a shame we won't have it again.
Why?
Why not?
Varun's being sent to our dear friends at Star tomorrow, so...
Finch is going as well.
No, I'm
Finch
back.
is here.
I'm back here tomorrow.
What are you taking him with you?
Okay, I'll just pop in for a visit.
Yeah, sure.
Between.
Who else have we got tomorrow?
We've got Irfan in the house tomorrow, so that'll be fun. Mitch McClenaghan is going to have a break as well.
Yeah,
So you're going to get a double swap on the side. You'll have Irfan here. You'll have Mr. Moody back on his high horse over there.
Let's put Tom in the...
No chance.
Let's disrupt him. Put him over there.
He'll just say,
put me over there.
No chance.
Okay. This is the kind of conversation that we can carry on after we've relieved our viewers. Thank you very much. It's been a long day. Mitch McClenaghan, Aaron Finch, Varun Aaron, always brilliant to have their thoughts. And we will continue to have them as the IPL moves along. We look forward to your company in what promises to be a really big game tomorrow, looking at the results that have taken place over the last 3 days. So join us then for build-up. Just around the toss from Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by JBL. Do download the mobile app. Pat Cummins is addressing the media as we speak, which is interesting. Made quite a funny remark last time that Dan Vittori tends to address the losses and he picks up the wins. But it's nice to see the captain come out after what will be a slightly concerning time for SRH. CSK looking very good, important win for them, and they occupy those top 4 spots as things stand. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the City Bred SUV.